with Archidiakono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
Walker with 7.
Got a mismatch.
Walker on McGee with 4. Kemba Walker. Step back. Walker. Cardiac Kemba does it again. UConn wins at the buzzer.
Gibbs the step back for the win. Got it!
No. Kunkel's got it for the win. Yes! Adam Kunkel did it!
In 5 more minutes. Get some popcorn in here.
Tip in. Ball game.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's Austin Groft, and I know it's been a while, but I'm back yet again filming a video, guys, for this week. It's March, so I'm ready to go. March Madness is almost here, and we got all the conference tournaments starting this week, so that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We're going to be talking about the Big East tournament, so let's get right into it, looking at the conference. So it starts March 10th, and there's now 11 teams in the Big East because UConn joined. So starting March 10th, we have number 9 Marquette against number 8 Georgetown. Now, these aren't their top 25 rankings. These are their Big East Conference rankings. So Marquette is at the 9 spot. Georgetown is at the 8 spot. That's at 3 p.m. on March 10th. And we got Butler and Xavier and DePaul and Providence all on Wednesday. And then the winner of Marquette and Georgetown will face Villanova. And then Seton Hall and St. John's will play on Thursday as well, and then Connecticut will take the winner of DePaul and Providence, and then Creighton will play the winner of Butler. But we're going to break down the entire bracket here, and I'm going to give my predictions of who I think is going to win it. So before we get into the bracket breakdown, I want to talk about some huge Big East news. Number 1, Gillespie just injured his, I believe it was his MCL. He injured it in the game against Creighton, and he's now done for the season. Unfortunate for the Wildcats. He was their go-to, their glue guy. You know, he got their offense initiated. Jay Wright obviously loved him. He was a typical Villanova-style point guard. And then Justin Moore just hurt his ankle in their last game of the season against Providence, and they just lost that game against Providence. So after coming back, and they only lost by 2 points. And then the other big news in the Big East, and surprisingly, these are both from the top 2 teams. This is now from Creighton. Head coach Greg McDermott is suspended from his duties as the role of head coach after the controversy he had making that racist comment. So there's some controversy going in the locker room. Not really sure how they're going to perform in the Big East. But nonetheless, let's get into the bracket breakdown here. Like I said, starting Wednesday, March 10th, we got Marquette against Georgetown. Breaking this game down, I'm going to go with Marquette. I feel like they're the better team in this matchup. You know, they have better wins this season. They beat Wisconsin when Wisconsin is ranked 4th in the nation. Justin Lewis came off the bench and had the tip-in off the foul shot for the win. And even though Marquette doesn't really have bench depth, I feel like their starting 5 can compete with any other starting 5 in the Big East. You know, you got DJ Carton, you got freshman in Dawson Garcia. He's been a beast this season. Jamal Cain's been great. Jamal Cain. So overall, I feel like Marquette's roster is solid. They have Greg Elliott, who comes off the bench. He's been solid. So Greg Elliott and Justin Lewis are like their only 2 good bench players. Other than that, they really don't have any bench depth, which is why I was saying, like, it's kind of concerning when they get into foul trouble. But I think Marquette's just a solid team. They have better wins, and I feel like they've had some ups and downs throughout the season, but I think overall they play better as a team. You know, Georgetown's kind of been inconsistent. They do have some big wins in Georgetown. So moving on in the bracket, going down is number 10, Butler against Xavier. I'm going to go with Xavier in this one. Even though they're without senior Nate Johnson, who averaged around 11 points per game, he's done for the season now. Xavier, they just did beat Creighton. They've kind of been iffy here the last couple of games. So it's definitely noticeable that they're struggling without Nate Johnson. But they got to make a push in this tournament if they want to make a case for March Madness. They had a strong start to the season. They were like 8-1 or 8-2 at one point, and they were rolling. But they dealt with a lot of COVID-19 issues. They didn't even play that many games this season. But overall, like, I love this Xavier team. You know, Fremantle, you got Scruggs. They have a lot of guys who can put the ball in the bucket. You know, it stinks to see that Nate Johnson's out because they could have made a lot of damage. You got Kunkel, who can hit the game winners. He's clutch. That's why I see Xavier winning this game over Butler, just because if they want to make March Madness, they have more to play for than what Butler does. And in the final game of the first round, DePaul and Providence. I think this game's not going to be close. Providence is a great team. I love Coach Ed Cooley. I think Nate Watson and David Duke are just dogs, and they're gonna win that one. So moving on to the second round. So I got Marquette against Villanova in the second round. This one's honestly a toss-up for me. Villanova did beat Marquette by 40 earlier in the season. That was like the best performance Villanova has had. So they're going to have that for them under their belt. But without the two guards, like, I'm just curious to see how they're going to play without them. You know, Chris Arcidiacono did come off the bench for Villanova and gave solid minutes. I don't think he scored, but he was a great role player. Did everything he needed to do. He hustled. He started the offense. It was like that typical point guard that Villanova has. So I think Villanova's going to come away with this one just because they have the experience. Jay Wright's going to have them ready to go. So we're going to go with Villanova against Marquette. Seton Hall, St. John's. This is a big one. I've been thinking about this one a lot because St. John's just beat Seton Hall, and Seton Hall they've lost their last 4 games. They've been playing really bad, but they've also before they lost those last 4 games, they won the 5. They're really streaky, and when they're hot, they are hard to beat. You know, Sandro Mamukelashvili is a beast. He just made the All Big East team. And they have other great role players in their guards. They have Miles Cale, Jared Rhoden's a good player. And then on the other side of the ball, looking at St. John's, they also have Julie Champagne, one of the best players in the Big East, alongside James Bouknight, which we'll get to here shortly. But yeah, Seton Hall's lost 4 straight to Georgetown, Butler, UConn, and St. John's. And they played St. John's earlier in the season, I believe. And they won that game. So they traded with St. John's both times this season. And the weird thing is, this recent game against St. John's, they went up 16-0 to start the game, and they lost by 10. So I don't know what the deal with that was. I just feel like the Seton Hall roster is better, and St. John's doesn't have Posh Alexander. I don't know what his deal is, but Posh Alexander is a freshman. His defense is incredible, and when St. John's has him, their overall defensive collective group is insane. They held Villanova to 58 points one time this season. But I'm going to go with Seton Hall. I feel like they're the better team, and I feel like in recent years, Seton Hall has done better than St. John's, so I'm taking them there. Moving on, we got Creighton. I'm going to have Creighton against Xavier, and I'm taking the upset in Xavier. You know why? Because Creighton is under the water right now with their coach and all that locker room controversy. I'm just not a big fan of that, and I don't know what their motivation is going to be like. They're going to make March Madness either way, even if they lose this, but Xavier is going to have a lot of motivation. They got to make a run in this tournament, and I feel like Xavier is going to have the confidence to come out and beat Creighton just because they already did it in the regular season, so that's why I'm taking Xavier over Creighton. The first upset for me in this bracket. So now we got Providence getting to UConn. I'm not going to hesitate with this one either because UConn has been playing great basketball. They're 12-2 with James Bouknight, 4-4 without him, but still, I think they're the best team in the Big East as of right now. They've been playing so good. You know, Bouknight is unreal. I think he's going to be a lottery pick in my eyes. I watched him play for the first time against Creighton when he had 40 points, and it was just so much fun to watch him play. He can score on so many different avenues, and it's not just him. They have other players for UConn that are getting it done, and Tyrese Martin, RJ Cole, Gaffney, Tyler Polley's good. They have a lot of other great role players who can get it done. So it's not like they need Bouknight to play well every given night in order to win, whereas Providence, they need David Duke to play well in order to win. If David Duke is not getting it done for the Providence team, then that just goes to show that that's not a solid team. That you can't be relying on one guy. So that's why I'm taking UConn in this matchup. I just feel like overall they're a solid team. I'm looking here at their recent games. You know, they're on a 4-game winning streak. Beat Georgetown, beat Marquette, beat Seton Hall, and beat Georgetown again. So, overall, I just, they scored 98 points in that game against Georgetown. It's unreal. And their defense is solid, too. You know, they've been one of the better defensive teams in the Big East. Going back to the bracket, so we're now in the semifinals. So I have Villanova against Seton Hall. And I think whoever wins that Seton Hall-St. John's game is going to beat Villanova in the semifinals. So I'm taking Seton Hall with the upset over Villanova to make the conference championship. I know it's a long shot, but I'm making some bold predictions here. I think Seton Hall is going to be able to beat Villanova since they're injured. They have the size. They have the physicality to get it done. So we'll see what happens in that game. But like I said, I think whoever wins that Seton Hall-St. John's game is going to beat Villanova to make the conference championship. I'm just leading Seton Hall because I like their roster better, especially if St. John's is without Posh Alexander. So in the bottom of the bracket, we got Xavier against UConn. Love this UConn team. I'm taking UConn over Xavier. I think it's going to be a 10-point win for UConn. Not even going to be close. UConn's just rolling. They're absolutely rolling. The Huskies are killing it right now. So we got Well, this is a crazy conference championship for me. Seton Hall, number 5 against number 3 UConn. Got to go with the Huskies to win it all, man. Like I said, they're playing the best basketball in the Big East right now. Kind of reminding me of the UConn team back in 2014 with Shabazz Napier. I feel like if this team wins the Big East, they could possibly be a 4 or 5 seed in March Madness, and I would love to see them go on a run in March Madness just because they're such a fun team to watch, and they're like really good, and I think they're underrated. They've been overlooked all season. I think they should be ranked, and we'll see how things go. So yeah, that wraps up my video today for my predictions in the Big East tournament. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of who you think is going to win the Big East, and if you agree or disagree with my predictions, I would love to talk about it and see your opinions and your sides of the story. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'm going to try to get some more videos up for March Madness once the bracket comes out, and we'll see you guys next time here on the channel.